listening to the MMA Brothers Podcast, coming to you from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Your source for UFC news, previews, and post-fight coverage. Hosted by your favorite duo, Daryl and Asher. Let's get it started.
Hello guys, and welcome back to the MMA Brothers Podcast. It's Daryl.
It's Asher.
We're talking UFC 256, Figueiredo versus Moreno. As usually, guys, we're going to take you to the main card. We're going to tell you how we thought the fights went, our predictions before, if they came true, if they didn't, and what we thought about the fights and what we think is next for them. We're going to start off at the bottom of the main card. So, Asher, can you start us off with Junior Dos Santos versus Cyril Gane?
Yeah, so I'm gonna start off by saying JDS needs to retire. I'm sorry. I'm tired of seeing this guy getting KO'd. It's like I love JDS. He had his run. He was champ in the heavyweight division, defended it a couple times, but like I don't need to see this guy keep getting KO'd. What is that? 4 losses in a row, 3 or 4 in a row, and they've all been KO finishes. So it's just like I've seen Curtis Bates knock him out recently. I've seen Jorginho knock him out recently. I've seen Gagne knock him out recently. Ngannou recently. It's like, dude, you know what I mean? This guy is walking CTE now. It's like, I don't need to see any more of that. JDS, please, man. Just if you can hear me, I'm doing it because I love you, bro. Just please stop fighting. I don't need to see you wear any more damage. If you look at these stats, 11 strikes landed. Like, I know it was only like the second round, but like, come on, like that's nothing. Gagne was just hitting JDS with whatever he wanted to. JDS was swinging. He's trying his best to land. And then for the end in the second round, yes, it may have been at the back of the head, depending on the way it landed or the angle. But from what I've seen, it did seem like a legal strike. The part of his elbow or his forearm that hit him was legal. On the part of the head, maybe the pointy part of his elbow hit the back, but that's a different kind of debate. But at the end of the day, JDS was like 1 or 2 strikes away from being finished because that jab that he hit him with hurt him. So Gagne, this guy is scary. I think he trains with Ngannou, so they're boys. So I don't think we're ever going to see him in Ngannou fight, but he's one for the future. 7-0, 6-0, whatever he is at now. So I like it. What do you think?
Yeah, same here. I can't say anything more than you've said. I really want to see Junior retire. It's tough. When you hang along too long in the fight game, these young lions are going to come in and they're going to make you feel like you should have retired. And we can even talk about that later on in the card as well with Tony Ferguson and Charles Oliveira. Cyril Gagne's kicks are absolutely thunderous. I think he's one for the future in the heavyweight division. Junior's long past his prime. Hopefully Dana cuts his contract to help him know that, this is, it's a young man's game. Fighting is a young man's game. The heavyweight division, you can kind of get away with it being in your late 30s, but usually you don't get away with it. So good on Junior, good on Cyril Gane. Junior retire. I want to see Cyril fight another one of the top 10 heavyweights, maybe Alexander Volkov. I would say it could be next for Cyril Gane, just based off of Curtis Blades already fighting Volkov, and Ngannou's already next in line. You know what I mean? Like, there's already so many fights lined up in the heavyweight division. But we can move on. We'll move on to Kevin Holland versus Jacare Souza. So, guys, actually, I'll let Asher take this one as well. I'll handle it.
Yeah, Kevin Holland. This is his 5th win of 2020. Jacare Salza, I don't know what his losing streak is at right now, but like, God, man.
5,
the thing is, I don't know how many he's lost recently, but he's on its skid. But the funny thing was, it's like Jacare was actually doing well. Like, he got a couple takedowns. He put Holland on his back. He was landing like a strike or two, as far as I remember. And he was talking to him. Kevin Holland's like, "Yo, that's a good strike." I guess he landed 2 punches. Those are the 2 punches on the ground. He hit him with one on the ground, and then like Kevin Holland's like, "Yo, that was nice." And hit him with another one. I was like, "Yo, keep doing that." Then Jacare started talking to him like, "Oh yeah, like you think you're gonna talk trash, blah blah blah." Then later he stopped punching after that, and guess what happened 5 seconds later? Jacare was out cold, folded like a chair by the cage. And I'm like, bro, you can't let men talk to you. You just gotta focus. You gotta keep fighting. This guy like stopped fighting for a second and thought it was a joke, and then he was out. And then he was sleeping 10 seconds later, bro. That was tough to watch. I've never ever seen anything like that before. I couldn't believe what I was watching. So yeah, Kevin Holland, good win, man. That was definitely an interesting fight. I don't know what's next for Holland. Maybe a guy like Derek Brunson, or maybe an Edmund Shabazian, because he's not going to get any title contention anytime soon. Like, there's guys like Robert Whitaker ahead of him. Maybe Jared Cannonier, he's coming off a loss, so maybe something like that. But yeah, good for Kevin Holland. He had a dope 2020, so we'll see what's coming from him in 2021. What did you think?
Yeah, same thing. Um, Jacare started off hot, took down Kevin. Kevin was working off his back, and then he swung his foot, and then he is like a whipping punch, and then Jacare got stunned. I don't think he expected Kevin's arms to reach his face, right? Because it's like a whipping punch that he threw, stunned him, and then got up, douche, douche. Then the nigga's out. I'm like, that's crazy. Kevin Holland called out Hamzat Chimaev.
Shemaev, yeah.
Hamzat, if you're about that action, fight Kevin. You know what I'm saying? If you say, "Oh, anytime then anyone an opponent, give me," go ahead. If Kevin's really about what he's saying, and you two can fight next week, run it. You know what I'm saying? I'd love to see it because the card next week is trash. But you know what I'm saying? So it'd be nice to see some Kevin Holland versus, and I think he'd be the first fighter ever in UFC history to win 6 fights. Because I think Neil Magny won five. I don't know how that nigga won 5 fights in a row, but he won 5 fights in a row in one calendar year. I think it was in 2014 or something like that. But if Kevin can scratch off 6 wins, that would be very impressive. Like 5 is already impressive enough, but you know. Anyways, move on to. Oh yeah, I think Jacare should retire. I don't think after this performance you've lost. What is it? 4 of the last 5. Jacare has, if not worse. Maybe it's even 5 of 5. I'm not 100% sure, but I'd like to see Jacare retire as well. Mackenzie Dern versus Verna Jandoroba. Verna was getting toasted online
Shout
for
out
her
to
looks.
shout out to Easy for posting that picture, comparing her to Rob Schneider.
I was like, you niggas absolutely. Oh my god. Anyway, Mackenzie Dern was throwing heat, man. I was like, yo, because her jujitsu is so good. She doesn't care if she gets taken down. You know what I mean? And we saw that off the ground, on the ground, in spots during the fight. She was trying to secure the takedown. Verna had very, very good takedown defense, but Mackenzie, as you guys can see from the strikes, was the more active fighter. She took her down more. She hurt Verna. Oh, she didn't even take her down. How? I swear, Mackenzie took her down, or Verna pulled guard. Right? Do you remember? It's at the end of the fight.
It might be like a reversal situation, so they didn't necessarily give it to Dern, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, because it was kind of a slam, kind of a pull guard situation. But I was very impressed by Mackenzie Dern. Her hands are looking better and better after every fight. I see a significant increase in her stand-up fighting, which is ridiculous. So, anyways, actually, I want to see Mackenzie fight a top 5 opponent because Verna's 13th, Mackenzie's 11th. If you fight anywhere between 10 and 5, it's not really saying much. I'd love to see her fight a top 5 women in that division. What do you think?
Yeah, I thought she looked great. Mackenzie looked great. Like you said, she came out and she was throwing hands. Like she's known for jiu-jitsu, but her striking game's obviously catching up. And I just liked her aggression, how aggressive she was. Like, didn't matter. Like, she broke her nose in the second round, kept moving forward. It didn't matter if she was bleeding, blood going in her eyes or whatever. She was still coming to strike. She was just as ferocious in the second round as she was in the third round. I think she won unanimous decision 29-28. But yeah, it was a good scrap. I don't really have much to say. There was no jiu-jitsu, even though both of them are black belts. So I did think that one of them would get submitted in this fight, but that never happened. And yeah, shout out to Mackenzie Dern. In terms of like what Daryl said, I do think she does deserve a top 5 strawweight next. Who it's gonna be, I'm not sure. Because who we got? We can Jessica Andrade is no longer in the division. Joanna Jędrzejczyk isn't probably gonna get a title shot soon because they're gonna give it to Rose Namajunas. So yeah, I guess maybe Joanna Jędrzejczyk if she's willing and ready to go.
Nah, I
So
don't think she's
yeah,
at that level of striking yet, bro. Because Joanna, you can't take her down.
yeah, but
And
Joanna doesn't have Dern's jiu-jitsu. That's the difference,
yeah,
right? So
but Joanna, anyone who can stand up with Weili Zhang is not gonna have any problem standing up with Mackenzie Dern. And even if Mackenzie tries to take her down, you can't take down Verna. You're not gonna be able to take down Joanna. You know what I mean? So like, I don't think she's Joanna level yet. I think she needs one more and a year more of training in order for her to work on her takedowns and setting them up and doing stuff like that. I don't know. That's just my opinion. You don't have to agree with it, but that's what I think. Because you think she's ready for Joanna?
no, I don't think she's ready, but like I agree with you. I would like to see her maybe get one more fight in. There's no need to rush her. So like she has to break any record for like certain number of fights until she became champ. Like she's here. Seems like she's going to be here for a long time. Let her take her time. Let her get better. Maybe give her a top 10 now. She beat the 13th opponent. Give her maybe a number 8 in the strawweight division and see how she does there. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. See how well she performs in her next fight. But this is a good competitive fight.
Yeah, no. And let me take this one, okay? Tony Ferguson versus Charles Oliveira, Okukui versus DuBronx. I thought we were going to see a much better performance out of Tony Ferguson. I was very impressed with Charles Oliveira. And I'll say this because I'm assuming every one of you guys has watched this fight. As you can see from the strike differential, it wasn't a close fight at all. Charles dominated every facet of the game, whether it was striking, takedowns, submissions. Everything was in favor of Charles. He almost broke. I don't know how Tony didn't tap. Tony's just made of different stuff that I don't understand. They don't make humans like Tony Ferguson anymore. He's just a different level. Now, all of this hype around Charles Oliveira, bro, this guy did nothing with top control for 13 minutes of top control, only 2 submission attempts. And how many ground strikes did this guy land? Like, I was mystified. I was like, why are they not standing this fight up? All DuBronx is doing is just holding Tony down. And I don't know if he's trying to do an oil check. He's just holding the dude's legs down like that. I'm like, yo, can we get some action? Can you throw something? Can you try to get us? You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I was watching the fight with Cooper. And he was like, yeah, man, you know, it was impressive. And I was like, yes, but he didn't do anything with the positions until 30 seconds left in each round. I'm like, what's the point of doing that? I don't know. I was impressed in the sense that he dominated Tony, but he didn't do any damage that I was looking for from Charles.
The reason why the referee was not standing them up based on position is because Charles was like in half guard or full mount each time for most of the round. So yes, he didn't do much when he was in those positions, but you cannot stand up a fighter when he's in full mount position. That's like a very advantageous position. If he was in full guard, yes, but if he was in full, yeah, but like sometimes you know how some fighters, whenever they post up to try and like strike ground and pound, they get hip tossed, right? Like the fighter below will manage to hip toss them and then get up from their feet.
Yeah. So, too bad, so sad, man. I want to see some freaking action. I don't want to see Charles dry humping Tony on the ground and doing nothing. Like, do something, man. Throw elbows, bro. Do something. Like, I hated the fact that I was watching 15 minutes of a guy on top of another guy doing no damage. At least Habib, when he takes you down,
but Tony was moving too.
I don't care if Tony's moving. Hit him. How many ground strikes did this guy land? 13 minutes of top control, and you only have 86 strikes. That includes stand-up. That's ridiculously low, in my opinion. I was so unimpressed with his ground strikes and his yes, he was almost, he managed to get him an arm bar or whatever, but he was only attacking that. If he had done that the whole round, I'd have been like, okay, yeah, dude, he's being active, he's throwing submissions, he's ground and pounding. I would have been much more impressed if he finished Tony. But if you have 13 minutes of top control in a 15-minute fight, Asher, and you don't Tony could fight next week.
Okay, so but why should he be taking risks when he knew he was going to secure the dub that way?
What do you mean taking risks? As a fan, personally, I want to see action. I don't need to see if it's high-level grappling. I'll see it. But was it high-level grappling in the sense of him going for the finish? No. He was just like, okay, I'm just going to sit on top of this dude and win off of top control. That's boring. I don't want to see that, man. That's boring. Not even Habib does it. No other person in the UFC in that division does it. Even Kamaru Usman was throwing strikes whenever he take people down. This nigga was doing nothing. You can't tell me Charles Oliveira was actively hurting Tony Ferguson on the ground. Could you say that?
All I want to say is Tony was scrambling the whole time. So like Tony was just laying still for like the whole
time. Do damage, man. Don't care. Scramble all you want. Scramble eggs, scramble Tony. I don't care. Throw some damage, man. Put some damage on the guy and do something. If I was the ref, I'd have stood those niggas up, bro. Charles, you've been in this position for 3 minutes in full mount and have done no damage. Like how?
I was cool with it.
Yeah, you and all the touch butt guys, man. I'm sick of it. All they want to do is touch my butt and just keep me down the ground. They don't hurt me, bro. Throw some strikes, throw some elbows, go for an armbar, do something. They hurt it, head and arm triangle, guilty. Oh man, I was like, God damn it! Like, yes, yeah, you won. You dominated Tony, but you didn't do anything to Tony, right?
Hey, like I said, to keep Tony down that long to me was extremely impressive. The commentators didn't have an issue with the fight being stood up. So you're the only one that's actually I've heard that's complaining about this. But it's a fair point. Like I do agree that like Charles Oliveira was on top, not doing too much, but at the same time, Tony was trying to roll and spin and do all these different things, but Charles was able to keep him down. And that's not something that any UFC fighter can do what he was trying to do. Like you can't like put any other like featherweight or a lightweight on top of Tony Ferguson and expect the same result. So it may not have seemed like Charles was doing much, but he was doing a lot to keep Tony in that position. You know what I mean?
I don't agree at all, but go on.
No, that's fine. We can move on to the next fight. It's all good. We'll
What's
have
next
a
for
difference of
Charles? What's next
opinion.
for Tony?
Oh yeah, what's next for Charles is I don't think he's going to be fighting Khabib because Khabib is probably going to fight like a GSP or a Conor McGregor or I don't even know who's next, but I just can see the 30th fight of Khabib's career, his retirement fight, being Charles Oliveira, which sucks because if there's anyone that deserves it right now, it's actually him. He's won like what 7 or 8 in a row, right? And then one thing I will say about Tony Ferguson is that Charles Oliveira fought Kevin Lee before he fought Tony Ferguson. Kevin Lee actually put up a better effort against Charles than Tony Ferguson did, which is actually kind of crazy to say. So in terms of what's next for Tony Ferguson,
1 second,
I want to
Asher.
say
Hello?
I want to say
Yes,
that
I texted
put
you.
it in mute. Put it in mute. I want to say that I want to say that what's next for Tony Ferguson is probably a move to 170 is my guess. Because I don't really see him doing anything much else at 155. In terms of 155, I do think that like his chances of getting a title shot are like really, really limited. Like, yes, he could like have a couple more wins at 155 against guys not named Charles Oliveira or not named Justin Gaethje. He could win those fights, but then again, getting a title shot in this division seems like insanely hard. So if I were him, I'll try and just move up to 170. Like he's 37. He's been weight cutting to this division for a long time. Why not just eat more foods, eat more proteins, eat more beef, eat more chicken, get some muscle on those bones. Yes, Kamaru Usman is huge for 170, but like trust me, look at people like Thiago Santos that used to fight at 185 and look at what he's doing at 205. Look at people like Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira used to be a 145er. He moved up to 155. Hear me out. He was a 145er and moved up to 155, and look at how much damage he's doing now. Who's another guy? There's another guy, Anthony Smith, same thing. He used to be 185, and he moved up to 205, but then he won like 5 straight or whatever it was. So this idea, and we're talking about 185 to 205, that's a 20-pound difference, right? Here I'm only talking about it at a 15-pound difference. Yes, it's not 10 pounds, but it's 15 pounds. So I don't think it's too late for Tony Ferguson. I do believe when he first came to the UFC in the Ultimate Fighter, he was a 170-pounder. So it's better late than never. If I were him, I would really consider doing it at 170 because he has a higher chance of getting a title shot at 170 than he does at 155 at this point in time. He can fight someone like a Kobe Covington. He can fight someone like a Jorge Masvidal right off the bat. And if he gets a solid win, people will be saying, yo, give Tony that title shot at 170. But in terms of 155, I don't see the path for him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you should move up to 170, but this is a discussion for another day. I think you should just hang it up. But we'll move on to Davison Figueiredo versus Brandon Moreno. Guys, this fight was absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. It ended up being a majority draw, which I heavily disagree with because even if you just look at the total strikes, you look at the significant strikes, total strikes, takedowns, it's so close to call. You give the edge to Moreno in the takedowns. In certain rounds, I don't know if they give it round by round. Please tell me they do. Show stats per round. I will really want to see this. Here, let's see. Yeah. But then there was also takedowns in some of these rounds, like advantage Moreno in strikes in round 4 and round 3, right? And there's takedowns in those rounds, right? Wouldn't you agree, Asher?
Yeah, they were.
Right, and then I think there was another round, and I think it was round 2. I believe Moreno took him down against the cage. I think he got stunned by Figueiredo, clinched him up, and then took him down. Right, I think that was round 2 as well, if I'm not mistaken. I scored it as a draw. Right, without the point deduction, I scored it as a draw. One of the two, I gave 2 rounds to Moreno, 2 rounds to Figueiredo decisively, and then one of them was up for grabs, meaning it's a draw for me, right? You add the point deduction. It has to go to Moreno. And we can get into X's and O's and as to why I think so, and I did. You look at the total strike differential. One judge had it 4-1 for Figueiredo. How? Please tell me how. You know what I'm saying? Who was this judge? What fight was this judge watching to give it 4-1?
For me, obviously, I thought a draw was fair. The problem was Figueiredo, he was moving forward a lot. There were a couple of rounds. I think it was the second round, second, third, and fourth were the ones that were like you could have scored them for Moreno. The fifth one, I definitely scored for Figueiredo, and the first one, I definitely scored for Figueiredo. Those ones, I don't think anyone's arguing whether or not they're for Figueiredo.
I just gave the fifth round to Moreno. I said, what?
No, I know. No one I didn't understand why they did that. But like, forget about that guy. I'm just saying in general, those two rounds, the first round and the last round. Those ones for sure, Figueiredo won them because, like, I know Moreno may have broken his arm. I think in the post-fight interview, he said he had something wrong with his shoulder. That's why he wasn't really throwing much in the fifth round, which was sad because I was like, bro, this is your round to win the fight, man. Like, you have the belt in your possession. Just go after him. But then again, Figueiredo was throwing those nasty body kicks. Like, he threw like 3 or 4 of them in the beginning of the fifth round. So I'm sure I can try and motivate him. But like, if you're taking those kicks, like, it's a different story, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
and his hematoma came in the fifth round. And his arm started off fine, and then he took a head kick to the arm, and it just gave instant hematoma in his arm.
Yeah, like look what happened to Jerry Cannonier. The guy didn't throw anything against his fight with Robert Whittaker because he had a broken arm too. So it's easier said than done. And Joe Rogan was also mentioned in the podcast that he thought it was broken. But yeah, I mean, that fifth round was there for the taking. If Moreno could have won that round, maybe we get getting a takedown or something, then it would be decisively Moreno win with that point deduction included, no problem. But because Figueiredo got that fifth round, to me, it was kind of tricky. I'm like, I don't know. With that point deduction, obviously, you take away one of those rounds for Figueiredo, one of those is a draw. So I can understand why the draw was the right result. But I do understand why some people thought Moreno won the fight as well. In terms of the damage, like the way he was hitting Figueiredo was nasty. He was sometimes, I think it was in the fourth round, he almost took him out, actually.
Yeah, like, I'm just like, bro, come on. He stunned Figueiredo numerous times in the fight. Yes, Figueiredo stunned Moreno, but every time Figueiredo stunned Moreno took him down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Every single time he got stunned, he got taken down because Davidson would come in for the finish. Moreno would clinch him and then take him down. So to me, a stun versus a takedown, it's a wash. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
In terms of points awarded. But, I'll let you finish your point.
Yeah, no, I kind of have to actually wrap it up because it's late here where I'm at. So let's just end it here.
Okay, cool. Once again, guys, thank you for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe at MMA Brothers Pod. We'd love to hear your opinions. Do you think Moreno won? Do you think Figueiredo won? What do you think is next for Tony and Oliveira? I got almost all my picks correctly, if I'm not mistaken, except for Charles Oliveira. Everything else I think I called correctly. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Anything else, Asher?
Nope.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good one.
Thanks for listening to the MMA Brothers Podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please give us a follow on our socials. You can check out a description of this episode for more, but don't forget to connect with us on Instagram at MMA Brothers Pod. We'll see you on the next episode.